Welcome to All Things Real Estate. I'm Terry Lajoie with Keller Williams Realty, and this is my co-partner and host, Shaun Sanville, with Oak Hill Acquisitions.
So what about you? I know you do everything on the retail side, so can you dive into a little bit about that?
I can. So residential real estate, I don't do commercial, and I can do pretty much anything on the residential side, whether it's helping somebody buy a home, sell a home, invest in real estate. I generally stay under 4 units or less. But again, like you, I have a passion for helping people. And so the biggest thing I want to do is if someone is struggling, and ideally if we can find that person or they can come to us before they're in a situation where they have an auction date scheduled. If somebody is when they're just starting to get behind in their mortgage, or they're facing some medical bills that they feel are going to put them, behind in the mortgage. I'm happy to step in, and there's no, when I just have a conversation with someone, there's no charge for that. It's just have a conversation and say what makes sense. And really, much like you're doing, I'm looking at the whole situation. Where are they? What are they trying to do? What are the problems? How can we solve them? And I had a past client, this was about 3 years ago now, that they called and they're like, I need to get a price for my home. I'm gonna have to sell it. And they were in active foreclosure. And I sat down with them and I said, well, why don't we look at some other scenarios? And because I can't call the bank on their behalf, but I can walk them through, like, what does that look like? And so they were able to get in touch with the bank, and the bank gave them a kind of a breathing period, and where they could not make some payments for a couple of months, get back on their feet, get back to work, and then start paying on the back amount. And so they ended up doing a forbearance, moving some money to the back, and then catching up the last couple of payments. And they've been in their house for about 12 years now. And they're still there. They still love the home. And that didn't, from my perspective, that didn't cost them anything. Like, I don't charge for that when I come in and talk to people. Obviously, if we end up selling the house, then I get paid to do that. But it's really looking at their situation and saying, what is it that they need, and try to find a solution for them. Sometimes it's helping them get to legal counsel and say, you need to speak to an attorney, or just whatever the situation is. And if I can help people who are facing that foreclosure and avoid it, or help them through a short sale, because that's another way for us to sell the property. If the person owes more on the property than what it's worth, that's why it's called a short sale, because it's short on dollars, not short on time, because short sales don't go fast. But while we're processing that short sale and we're waiting for the bank approvals, the people are still in their home. While they're in their home, they can be looking for their next place. They can be packing. They can be looking for a job. They can be working on their credit. They can be doing a lot of things while we're in that process to get that home sold and get them out from under. The other thing about a short sale is, in most cases, not all, but in most cases, we can avoid the bankruptcy that comes after a foreclosure. A lot of people don't realize after a foreclosure, the only way to wipe out that debt that comes from that is with a bankruptcy. And it's not just what you owed on the mortgage. People think that it's like, oh, well, I was, $10,000 behind. No, it's not that. Because it's all the legal fees, it's all the interest, and all the other charges that come in from the bank and the attorneys that add on to that. And it can be substantial. So the whole goal is to help people. And I think that's what both of us do collectively. We each work independent. We each have our own businesses, which is cool. But we also work together, and we partner up and help people.
We get to collaborate quite a bit. I mean, I know you've taken me on some listing appointments before, where I think this is from experience, I would say you're probably the only agent that will actually take an investor to a listing appointment to say, let's figure out the best solution here, because most agents, in my opinion, are concerned with just their commission, where I've seen it time and time again with you, where you very much are concerned with the best solution for them. and you want to put that forward to them. We've been on appointments together where we sit there for 20 minutes with the homeowner saying, okay, well, does it make sense for Shaun to step in here? Because I know you want to get these problems solved, and then we'll kind of bounce ideas back and forth. And by the end, they're getting, they don't know it, but they're getting a full like master class in how to look at a deal, how to figure out what's the best situation, the befores, the afters, everything that comes along with that. So when did you start kind of looking at it as a broad scope and like helping people as a whole instead of like just getting the listing, and how would you feel that's helped you in your career? So
it started on day one.
Okay.
It actually started before, because when I bought my first house as a single individual, it was during a very, very hot market, not unsimilar to where we are today. And I looked for a year. And the first house that I put under contract, there were, I think, 6 pages of material defects from the home inspection.
Yeah.
Bullet items.
Yep.
6 pages.
Yeah.
A lot of it was visible. I just didn't know what I was looking at.
Yep.
And so I withdrew from that one, put another one under contract a couple months later, and came to the home inspection, same home inspector, and now there were 4 pages, all different items from before. Didn't go through with that one. The next one, 2 pages. The final house that I bought, my home inspector looked at me, he says, "You've been listening." He goes, "Buy this house." The only thing on that report that was of any consequence at all was cutting the tree branches that were hanging over the house. And so when I got into real estate, I swore that that wouldn't happen to my clients, because that was a lot of money.
Yeah.
You pay for 4 home inspections, that's a lot.
Yeah.
And so I didn't want that for my clients. And then very shortly after I got into real estate, we had the last recession.
Yep.
And prices came down and inventory went way up. At one point I was telling homeowners when I met with them that if nothing new came on the market, we had 7 years. We had 7 years of inventory that we were going to have to sell. And it turned out to be very close to that.
Yeah.
By the time we moved the market back again.
Yeah.
And so as we went through that, I did something that nobody else wanted to do, because I was new and I needed to pay my bills, right? So you take the deals that you need to take. Well, those deals were short sales. And over a period of probably about 7 or 8 years, the vast majority of my business was short sales. At one point, it was 70% of my business was short sales. And you work with different people and you figure out who has the same focus as you, right? And so I had my whole short sale team. And I would walk in and people would, say, "Well, this is what's going on and I need to sell." And so I would explain the short sale process, and is this something that works for you? Do you want to try to put the house on the market for what's owed on it? This is what the market value is. We can always try that, but it's really not likely to work. And they had never heard of a short sale. They didn't know what that was. And so I would go through that process and explain it to them, and then introduce them to the short sale negotiator so that they could have a conversation there and really kind of learn from that perspective what was going to happen and what the timelines were and things like that. And as our market started shifting again, my whole short sale team is still together.
Yeah.
So we can still do short sales today. We're not seeing very many. There's a couple here and there.
Yeah.
But we're not seeing very many, but I suspect that we're going to see more of those coming.
I would agree with that, yeah.
So that's walking in and helping people and realizing that bad things happen to good people. Someone doesn't end up in a short sale or a foreclosure necessarily because they intended that.
Yeah.
A lot of times it's things outside their control.
100%.
It's somebody got sick, there's medical bills, somebody lost a job, or there's a job relocation, or there's any number of things that can cause somebody to go through this situation. And I think looking at it and saying they're good people, and I just want to help them.
Yeah.
I want to get them into a better spot. I want to get them to a point where they have a home again, whether it's a rented home or their own home, but they have a home and their family's not on the street.
Yeah.
That's a huge piece for me, is I want to make sure that people are safe, that they have a safe place to live. And so that's why I really look at them, and I ask a lot of questions. And coming in and saying, okay, my first question is, what's going on?
Yeah.
Like, how can I help? What's going on? What got us here? And then just kind of peel that onion back one layer at a time till you get to what the cause is. And once you're at the cause, then you can start formulating a solution.
Absolutely.
And I'm a firm believer one solution doesn't fit all.
No, it never does in our industry. It's
Right.
always a custom solution because everybody's unique and their situations are unique. The one thing that you had mentioned was talking to them about price, and like, we can try to put it on, and we've had this conversation many times. When you list homes for me, they do not sit, and I think you have probably one of the best pulses on the market, and you've told me many, many stories about, you know, going into appointments with clients and saying, okay, do you want your home to sell in 30 days or do you want to close in 30 days? Do you want to try to get top dollar? Here's what that looks like. So can you kind of speak to that so people get an understanding of like how you go in and how you operate and how you work, because it's very unique compared to what I've seen other people do.
So my first question is, what's important to you?
Yeah.
And when I ask that question and someone says, I want the home sold. Okay. Like, again, going back to when I started in real estate in the recession, and there were times that I was the fourth agent in, and this house had been on the market for 3 years.
Yeah.
And they're like, I want it sold. Okay, well, define that.
Yep.
And they kind of look at you strange. They're like, sell it? But what do you want to get from it? Like, what's important? What's the most important thing for you? And I've had people say, I just want it gone. Okay,
Yeah.
well, how quickly? 30 days. Okay, 30 days to get a purchase and sale, or 30 days to close. And back then, we could actually close a deal in 4 days.
Yeah.
We can't do that anymore.
No.
There's timelines and things that prevent that. But even still, you know, if they said 30 days and it's like, okay, well, do you want to be closed in 30 days or under contract in 30 days? And they're like, if you can get this under contract in 30 days, that would be great.
Yeah.
Okay. And I would always look at them and I say, okay, I can do that. You may not like how. Like, I'm going to preface that because
Yeah.
it's the price.
Yeah. Always is.
If you want this home sold in less than 30 days, it's the price. You and I have that conversation on your properties all the time.
Oh my God. Yeah. Yeah.
So at that point, I've already done my analysis. I know what the market range is for that property. But just because that's what the market range is, and if inventory is 7 years, which is very different from today at 22 days,
Yep.
that's a very different market, right? And so if you have 7 years of inventory and you say, I want this property sold in 30 days, we have to take drastic action.
Yeah.
And that when somebody has said that to me, I've never once had someone say, well, that's a ridiculous number.
Yeah.
They all have come back to me and said, if you can do that, I will be happy as a clam.
Yep.
Okay, great, let's do that.
Yeah.
But if you don't start with what's important to them,
Yeah.
to me, and this is just how I operate, if I don't start with what's important to you, how can I do the best job for you?
Yeah. You need to understand exactly what they want
Right. And then provide solutions
to make that happen.
to make it happen. And when you and I have worked together, and I've sold several properties for you at this point,
Yeah.
and I'll tell you, this is the market range, and there's always a range, right? There's
Yep.
the high end, there's the low
Yep.
end. And then there's I want it sold, and you've told me before, I want it sold in a weekend.
Yep.
Okay, well, we can do that.
Yep.
Sounds like the same scenario with you, right?
Yeah.
We can do that. Here's how.
Yeah.
And we line things up. And there's a very specific timeline that we follow in order to get those things done.
Yeah.
And then there are other times that, you know what, something shifted and it didn't work out exactly as we planned.
Yep.
But then you and I are back on the phone and we're having conversations and we continue that. What's important? How do we? What
Work
do you
towards
need?
it.
And let's get this done. I don't know that you've hit 30 days on any listing yet, have you? Before it's been under contract?
No, it's never been 30 days. It's always, I think the most we've ever done was it was 21 days, maybe.
so.
Maybe. But I think a big thing to that as well is your attention to detail. And you don't pull punches with people. Like, you tell people exactly how it is, where you've walked through some of my properties before, and I've been on listing appointments with you where you've walked through other people's properties and you go, I can absolutely do this price, but you need to fix this, 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 and this to get that price. And people are like, okay, I don't want to do that. Well, what's the things should I fix? And can you talk about that a little bit? And like, I don't see other agents doing that. I've seen a lot of agents just say, I can list your home for this price and we'll put it on the market and yeah, everything will be great. And then, 45, 60 days later, it's still there because they're priced the same as a home that's newly renovated and they haven't been updated since 2007.
Right. Well, it depends. It depends on the situation. Every house is different. And we walked through a house recently, and I did that exact thing with you. And I'm looking at what are the things that are going to be financing issues. If it's, if you tell me I want this house available for anybody with any financing, FHA, VA, rural housing, any of it, there are certain requirements that we're going to have to meet for the bank.
I don't think people understand that when they're going to sell a home, that like, if they don't, they're limiting their pool of buyers and the price that they can get for it if they don't fix some of the things that you point out in those meetings.
Right. Simple things like handrails on basement stairs or exterior stairs or
peeling paint.
Peeling paint is a big one.
Yep.
Not having siding on the side of a building.
Yeah.
There's all kinds of things, and every house is different. And I think you and I both look at things and we say, this is the house, this is the situation, these are the people involved. How do we find a solution that is right for the people?
Yeah.
And that's why I enjoy working with you, because we actually have an appointment this week that came from you, and you're bringing me. And again, most investors don't want to bring a real estate agent with them. But in that case, it may not be a good fit for you, so you're bringing me in. But
yeah, I think it's more so it's not the right fit for the homeowner. And we've had many conversations about this, of like, we really do the best that we can to put people first, where I could go in and I could make this gentleman a cash offer on his house and stop the auction, do all that stuff. It would leave him with no money.
Right. And that's not a fit.
And that means for me, I don't want to do that.
Right. And we need to stop now because we're at the end of our time for today, but we're going to pick this conversation up again later.
Absolutely.